Tuber98 here, and I'm bringing back the GTA 5 car builds. With the ability of next gen, I don't actually have any of the next gen versions, so I'm going to leave it off with the last gen and then move on to current gen once it comes out for PC. But for now, let's move on to the builds. There are a few car builds that I haven't seen and I've wanted to try for myself. In this video, we will be bringing back to the Fast and the Furious for car inspirations. This being a 2-car special all about Tokyo Drift. Today, we will be building both DK's Nissan 350Z and Sean's Drift Mustang. First, we will start off with DK's Nissan 350Z. This car was actually one of the more harder cars to build, as there isn't any base car we can work off that resembles the Nissan. There's one car that does come close though. Stock, you would never think of using this, but once upgraded it can look very close. I'm talking about the Shyster Fuselage. The fuselage is based off a Chrysler Crossfire, with some elements of a BMW Z4. This looks nothing like a 350Z, but once we upgrade it, it can very well come close. The fuselage is very easy to obtain with Simeon wants it. Otherwise, it's very common around the middle areas of Los Santos. It can also be bought from the Southern San Andreas website for $36,000. Once you gain yourself a fuselage, take it to Los Santos Customs and turn this mama's car into a drift car. First, as usual, upgrade all of the performance parts to maximum. This time, we even want the maximum suspension to lower the car. Brakes are optional if you want to keep the drift feel of the car. The fuselage isn't much of a drift car to begin with. By adding the brakes, it only makes this even more so. Let's begin with the bumpers. Now, there's only one bumper option, but that's the one we're going to need. For your exhaust, choose the big bore exhaust. The 350Z has a custom hood, which is painted a darker gray compared to the rest of the car. Next, choose the only option you have for your skirts. The spoiler we will choose as the second option, high-level spoiler. This spoiler is an exact replica of the movie car's spoiler. The only issue is that this spoiler in-game is 2 times less in scale than the one in the movie, but it still works nonetheless. We can mimic the hood with a carbon hood option. Now, on the Tokyo Drift 350Z, the license plate is missing. To mimic this feature, we will choose the yellow and black plate from the plates section to mimic this. Obviously, there is still a license plate on the in-game car, but it's not as noticeable as a high contrast white color on black paint. Now, for your paint job. There's only one option that covers the car, but we'll make this a black steel gloss paint color, which is around 4 colors down from the top. This color is very similar to that of the movie car, minus the black cockroach vinyl on the movie car. The tinted windows we want for this build is the full blacked out windows. Finally, your wheels. We have an exact set of wheels in the sports category that go by Wangan Master, if I pronounce that right. These wheels we will give a carbon black color, as the movie rims are not fully blacked out, and that is the first of 2 vehicles. Now, on to the Mustang. Sean's Mustang was a little bit more difficult, but I decided to just use the Mustang variant that the game has given us, instead of something else. We have it, let's use it. The Vapid Dominator. Heavily inspired by the 5th generation Mustangs, but lucky for us for this build, the front grille as well as most of the rear of the car has hints of an old 70s fastback, which works perfectly as Sean's Mustang is of a 67 model design. In these clips, I haven't unlocked all the performance parts, but as usual, you'll want to upgrade everything except for the brakes and the suspension. To get the Dominator to look more like the 67 model, we will add the window vents in the bodywork sections. For your bumpers, you're only going to change the rear bumper, so make this a painted rear bumper, which is the final most option. For your exhaust, choose the titanium exhaust. Leave the grille as it is. Stop. For your paint, choose the gloss graphite for your primary and ice white for your secondary, to give us that lighter black color as well as that white racing stripe that the movie car has. For the roof option, leave that alone. Now, for the wheels. We don't have an exact replica of the wheels, unfortunately, but if we go to the SUV section and choose Lowe's Speed Baller, the difference between this wheel set and the wheels on the movie car is that these wheels have 8 spokes, while Sean's Mustang has 7. But whatever, the spokes are the same, so let's use them. And that is actually it for the Mustang build. The movie car wasn't heavily customized like most of the cars in Tokyo Drift, but this worked otherwise. Hope you enjoyed this custom car build, and leave a comment on what car build I should do next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. NoobTuber out.